Jason Day ended his 5-year dry run on the PGA Tour with a set of clubs that wouldn't look at a place outside your local pro shop. Guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Simon down here at Sandford Springs Golf Club, and let's talk about what a story unfolded on the weekend, and more importantly, the clubs that he used to seal the deal at the AT&T Byron Nelson. Because we have some of the clubs that he used, and to be perfectly honest, they're not really that special. And what I mean by that is it's a complete mixed bag. Jason Day lost his contract with TaylorMade back in 2022. He's been a free agent since. And it's always interesting seeing professional golfers when they get to pick and choose what they want to use. Why have they got that at the top end of the bag? Why are they using those wedges? Not to mention 70% of the bag isn't even the latest and greatest. It's actually quite old. And there's two reasons why I love this win and Jason himself. First of all, 5-year dry run, tons of injuries. The bag he actually used to complete the task is very much fitting for this channel. Now, thank you to the boys at Replay Golf for sourcing the clubs for me to test today. And no, he did not use a G410 on the weekend. He used a G430, which sadly I couldn't get my hands on. But to be perfectly honest, there wouldn't be much need for me to show a 500+ pound driver on this channel. Because Jason didn't upgrade to the G425 when it came out and was using this last year 9-degree LST King G410 driver, which I'll show you the prices that you can get them for. And for me personally, it was a bit of a meh driver. G400 I think is world class. G410 was a bit rushed, essentially bringing out the G400 Max, then the G410, and then a year later the G425. Essentially went under the radar for quite a few golfers. Oh, I've absolutely caned that. No wonder he put it in the bag. But driver for me is the least interesting wood in the bag. Jason had 3 fairway woods in the bag, and 2 of them being the Sim. We're not talking Sim 2, we're definitely not talking Stealth 2. We're talking clubs that are almost 4 years old now, and they certainly did the trick. Now, I haven't got the Sim fairway with me, as Replay didn't have the right setup. I didn't think it was necessary to bring out the golf course to hit, as fairway woods are so different for each particular golfer. Getting that right shaft and right loft. My main point being when it comes to these fairway woods is you want to be confident and you want a particular yardage. And there's no question on Saturday, they obviously provided just that. He also had a Stealth 7 wood in the bag as well, which I find fascinating when pros use 7 woods, as it's not going to be the longest. It's going to be very high, very spinny because of that loft. Forget shafts. Loft is the biggest element when it comes to spin, and that would just be his very comfortable, controlled shot. Don't be afraid to put a 7 wood in the bag if you want ultimate confidence and potentially that fairway finder. Now, 7 woods are expensive no matter where you look, whether it's 10 years old or new. They just don't make that many of them. And unfortunately, when it comes to supply and demand, it is going to be expensive. So even though the Sims are probably floating around the 110 to 130 pound mark, which is a good value for quite a recent TaylorMade fairway wood, the Stealth standard would be more like 140, 150. The 7 wood's going to be more about 200 pounds, which is why I'd opt you to go something a bit older. 70, 80 pounds, decent shaft, decent loft. And let's be honest, for us amateurs, it's going to produce the same kind of result. This was one of the reasons, apart from the putter, why I decided to make this video. P7 MCs, not the newer version, the 2023 model, but the 2021 model. The reason being is that the P7 MC, for me, is one of the irons that gets forgotten the most. P790, very popular. P770, incredibly popular for more of that player. And then if you really like punishing yourself, you're going to go to the P7MB, which ultimately means these get left to the wayside. And when I find a club that gets left to the wayside, it means they're going to be quite cheap. Meaning you could get 5 to pitching wedge, which, let's be honest, is what Jason was using, and then he used a 4 P770 iron at the top end of the bag for that bit more forgiveness, for around £400. And considering when it comes to TaylorMade irons, if that was a P790 2021 model, you are definitely not getting it, oh, delightful, for anything less than 650, 700. But does that mean you should potentially buy them? Because don't get me wrong, even though these are more forgiving than the MB version, they are far from forgiving. That 4-iron is a knife. And I know you traditionalists will be going, Simon, that's not a blade. Well, let's be honest, 200 yards into wind on a cold morning, it's not going to fill you with much confidence, is it? To answer the question why he hadn't updated to the 2023 model, I have no idea, and I would love to be in a position in the future if I was able to speak to a high-class professional golfer that uses older equipment. That's potentially a free agent so that they can give me an honest answer. But I imagine it'd go down the lines of, well, they're working for me, I feel confident over them, so what's the point in changing? Which neatly brings me on to the wedges, SM9s, and trust me, if you were to buy these brand new, it's going to set you back quite a bit of money. But if you wanted the same kind of result of the SM9s, SM8 in good condition, SM7 in good condition. And I'll be fascinated to know if Jason does go to the SM10 that will launch at the end of this year, as it's towards the end of its cycle now, as it's not uncommon for a lot of pros, especially ones that use Vokeys, to stick with older models, the SM8s, the SM7, as loft and shaft and head weight and grind is pretty much the be-all end-all. When it comes to super good spin, with the limitations wedges already have on them, a newer version isn't going to be able to give any more than a solid technique and a confidence with the old existing one would. Go on then, let's hit this 4-iron, let's burn my hands. Now I saved the best to last, and this arguably could be the most expensive club he has in his bag, as I can't find it anywhere. But with the exception of the putter, everything in this bag is quite standard. And if you were to be a bit patient and wait about eBay, Facebook, you would be able to build this bag quite comfortably, especially for under £1,500, if you can find his putter, that is. Oh, that's not a bad effort. I'll take that. Oh, it's drawing nicely back in as well. I'm never getting a better strike off that. Now, very similar to the fairway woods, I was ecstatic when I saw the putter at the end of the bag. I was thinking, oh, he's only using a £80 putter, a £100 putter, thinking that is a traditional tailor-made Tour Spider, which I'll show you listings here, go for around £100 to £150, depending on really good condition, as these things do mark up. I'll show you a similar version that I found in replay, and obviously the previous owner thought of himself as a Picasso, trying to revamp his old putter with quite rudimentary paint by the looks of things. But this is the putter that I thought he was using, and because it had Ghost on the bottom and Rosser, I thought this was quite an old putter. I'll show you old tailor-made Spider Rosser putters, and don't get me wrong, one of the most popular putters ever to hit the market. TaylorMade Spider, there is no question. I've had them in the past, I love them. I honestly think they're one of the best mallet putters outside of the 2-ball back in the day to ever hit this game. But the more I did a deep dive, the more I looked, the more I searched, I can't find this TaylorMade Ghost Rosser putter anywhere. Not honestly starting to think, unless you guys can let me know in the comments, this is just a prototype. I've never seen this. I don't know if it's ever coming out to the market, because only a couple of years ago he was using an Odyssey putter, and then even further back, just the traditional black TaylorMade Ghost putter, which was very similar to the one I just showed you repainted. So what have we learned from Jason's bag? Because let's be honest, there's a mixed bag in there. Different brands, different manufacturers, and different head types overall. We've got the low spinning driver head type, but then also a 7-wood in there as well. But one thing I love about Jason's win and his bag overall is that it's not your stereotypical bag. He's got a mixture of clubs in there that suit his golf game, and that's exactly how you should see your golf bag. Don't get driver 3-wood, 4-to-pitch in wedge, 4 wedges and a putter, just because that's what the stereotypical golf bag is supposed to be. If you like this video, you might like to check out the major winning brand that no one buys anymore, or as much as they used to anyway, up here on the right hand side.